And we are back, everybody. We return to our Ruralpunk shenanigans, where what I'm sure our heroes thought would just be a nice, leisurely drive out to the creepy abandoned hunting lodge, and its underage squatters. Who would have thought that whatever's living out there is pretty touchy about who comes into its turf, I guess. So yes, we left you in the center of that intersection, with the spindly, haunting-looking figures materializing out of peat haze, clambering over that barbed wire fence like something terribly real, and beginning to close on the buggy. What do you do?
Oh, we just have to be at a crossroads, don't we?
Yes. Yell at Tobi, which way do we go? Which road, Tobi, now?
Let's see how he goes. I can disclaim this decision making just like anybody else. Okay. It's alright.
Okay.
Short answer, the fuck are those? It starts like slapping the shoulder of your chair, just gesturing wildly and panicking significantly.
Okay. Just give me a sec. I'm just
so
reading
he
my
doesn't know which way we need to go.
It's sort of like his gesturing appears to be go forward.
Okay, yeah, Madeleine's gonna floor it.
Alrighty.
Because I'm not staying there.
Yep.
No, sorry, Bob.
Alright, I'm just trying to figure out if I've got any
anything that can deal with magic.
Yeah, well, I've got that. It's whether I've got anything that can supplement the lack of information from the Tobi end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, look.
There is some loud banging in the background of someone, I think.
I was going to say, is that the cats, or...?
No, it's not on my end.
Sorry, that's my blind...
Oh, I see.
Being buffeted about.
Ah.
Yeah, it is a windy day.
Yes.
But,
It's alright. Alrighty, so, where is my character sheet?
No.
Clang!
Clunk, clang. Live, everybody.
Yeah. Like, this is where you come to hang out, folks. This is the dangerous material you don't get elsewhere on the internet.
Alrighty.
Weird clanging sounds. Actually, oddly appropriate, because...
Yeah,
once again, you get the screeching metal...
Yeah. It actually took me a while to realise that you were actually asking a question about the real life.
Look, I'm glad we've got the immersion firing. That's good. So yes, you hammer your foot down on the accelerator and screech past. You get a moment brushing past one of those figures, and like it's a blink, like a one blinking moment where you catch just a mess of like wrapped rusty wire and like a black grease. So you scream, but then it's past and you're gone, and you're sort of thundering along this road, and you are driving blind. It's like you can barely make out more than the few meters in front of you. But the road, mercifully, is materializing as you go.
Alright, Acheron's going to turn back behind the truck. So we've broken through the line, or are we still going towards the beasties?
You seem to have broken past the ones that were coming towards you at that point.
Alright, so Acheron's going to turn around out the back of the truck, attempt to cast slow, so that we can at least slow the truck down a little bit, or slow the buggy down a little bit without risking being caught up to. So that's 1 die for magic.
You would kill him, you would have used magic.
Which is a 3, again.
Hello and welcome to Does Acheron Ever Catch a Break? Yeah, it doesn't happen.
No.
So yes, you sort of... However, you do get put on your defiance clock for that.
Yep. So
how does it...
How...
So it doesn't slow them down, but it does ask for more.
All right.
Please don't kill Tobi.
Would I kill Tobi? Also, what do I need to be looking out for on the defiance clock? Is there... How many pips do I need to be looking at getting before something goes wrong or goes horribly right? Or
it's like just keep an eye on its current level, because it will... The level of that will determine part of your entanglements at the end of the session.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, and like if you fill the whole thing, great, you get more magic.
Get a level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
So be irresponsible. Just go.
Oh yeah. If there's one thing Acheron is, it's irresponsible.
Yeah.
So I think Acheron is going to... Okay. Acheron's going to try and do a little bit of good. This sentence should not inspire anyone with confidence. But as the thing asks for more energy, because I think as we established in the first session, it's not so much Acheron spreads coldness as draws heat in and passes it on to something else. I think Acheron is going to sort of cast around for potential heat sources. Yeah, I think... Actually, no, here's what I'm seeing, is that this entire, like, as we're driving along, and I'm going to make this worse for everybody involved, I'm so sorry. So, you sort of, it starts off as, like, the grass along the edges of the road sort of frosts over, and then there's... I think Madeleine probably feels a little bit of a shift in the buggy as the road underneath the wheels turns icy.
Oh God!
Yay!
And this sort of, I'm seeing sort of like a fog bank come up. So like we don't know if it's worked. They might have slowed down, but also we can't see them anymore. This might not be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Madeleine, you feel your wheels beginning to lose traction as the road is suddenly covered in an unseasonable sheen of black ice.
Oh dear. Do I need to make a operate maneuver kind of roll?
Yes, I would say unless. In fact, I think as I'm seeing it, I think the tail end of this is you sort of skidding sideways off the road and like the buggy essentially like slamming sideways into something and getting bogged. You may resist that consequence if you wish. Do you remember how to resist things?
How do we resist? I've forgotten that.
Like you take the column of your most relevant hexagon. I think operator's in meat pod, so that feels about right. Am I right on that? Or is it in professional? Yeah.
Maybe.
Maneuver is in meat bod and operate is in mastery.
Alright, so you would take the column dots of your mastery and roll them, wagering against 6 stress.
Okay, that's...
So, like, we will subtract the highest dice from the 6 stress for you to stop this happening. Actually, no, for now, because Acheron triggered that, you may attempt an operate roll, and we will see how you go from there. Because for now, we've invented this new obstacle. The road is now wildly useless. And on the same note, we have Tobi sort of tapping hammering the shoulder of your chair in a slightly different way. and gesturing. It's like, it's here, it's here. It sort of points at another, like a smaller, gnarled-looking blackened tree.
Oh God!
As you see, like
All
a
right.
turn off one of the sides.
All right, I'm gonna attempt the operate roll to be able to follow that, I guess. And up in the no 1.
All right. So yeah, you hit the patch of ice. You sort of like try to make the turn, handbrake on, and you just keep sliding. Your wheels catch the ditch at the edge. You're right. Yep, all good. Yep. Your wheels catch the ditch at the edge of the road, and the buggy rolls. The three of you sort of thrown against, or four of you thrown against the roll cage, trying to keep shit together. Yeah, you all end up in the frozen dust. What do you do?
Is the like half-conscious kid like alive?
Yeah, still kind of out of it, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
All right.
Could be worse. Where Madeleine's going to go and see if we can right the.
Acheron's immediately going to take up rear guard and scan the area for, are they still coming? Is there anything else coming now? Have we alerted anything, kind of thing?
As the four of you get your wits back around you, no, you don't need to roll for this. It's like
okay.
It's like, yeah, like
okay.
you all sort of stagger out and, take a second to collect yourselves, and you hear that sort of metal screeching again.
Oh, good.
How loudly?
It's getting close.
How upside down is the buggy?
Pretty thoroughly.
Okay.
It's like, it has rolled completely and has gone into the ditch, so it's like, yeah.
Elasticated guitar goes forward and bounces back from the camera. If only we were that metal. All right.
Yep. Okay,
yeah, Tobi sort of staggers out, clutching his head. It's like, oh, fuck, I think we're surrounded.
All right.
Are we going to... I asked Tobi if how close we are to the launch.
It's like, he looks, he immediately thinks better of trusting his eyes on this, and sort of looks at you, shrugs. It's like, we could make it. It's like, how's your 400 meters?
All right. Madeleine's keen on running. What's Acheron feeling?
Acheron's feeling like they might just make shit worse, but one of the things that it's possible for me to have for no load in my kit is a promise to a chimera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So
all right then.
Acheron's gonna shout at the shoulder squirrel, "Hey, you remember how I promised to stay alive? Yeah, gonna get real tricky in a minute unless you can sling us some help."
Okay.
I can make an enforce roll if you would like, but that is...
No, I'm just like if you mark the thing, because I feel like the promise isn't to the squirrel.
Oh no, Acheron is absolutely trying to communicate through the squirrel. It's just that
the squirrel responds with, "It's like, please stand by while we connect your call," and it just keeps doing that.
Okay.
All right, Acheron, we're doing a flashback. Who was the promise to? And what was the other side of the bargain?
Yeah, okay. Whew. Acheron was not ready to go into this much detail when they came up with this harebrained scheme. All right, so I think what we're getting here is the genesis of the shoulder squirrel. So this is the moment at which Acheron picked up a sidekick.
The infestation, yeah.
Yes, the infestation. So as we established in the in our first session, listen to me stall as I'm spinning a yarn. Of course I know what word is going to come out of my mouth next.
As we do a flashback within the flashback.
So as we learned in the first session, Acheron started off as their parents wandered out and lost themselves to find themselves. I don't think we determined whether they had Acheron before or after they came back. I think we figured after, but that's not important to this story. But then Acheron sort of used what their parents taught them in order to become a guide and help other people who had needed to get from point A to point B in the wild without ending up quite profoundly infested by the wild strain. And I think at some point something did go wrong. And I think this might actually be a trip that they did. They were quite young at this point, I think. This might have been a trip while their parents were showing them the ropes. I think everyone came out of it okay. I think they all survived. I'm not sure if... I think they got separated for a little while. And their parents did find them again and sort of praised them for all of the survival skills they'd shown, which was don't move far from where you started, make sure that you find shelter, and all of the other little things that they don't tell you in current Australia if you get lost in the bush, but are really important in a wild strain things such as, make sure you've got at least 3 sides of no visibility and
survival skills aside, that's not what got you out of there, was it?
No. Acheron completely blanked. Acheron was like 6.
I was thinking teens. It's like I was thinking like the point in your life where a deal with the devil makes perfect sense.
Well, that's true, actually. Actually, let's go with sort of like pre-teens. Let's go 12, 13.
Yeah.
Acheron freaked. I keep thinking that Acheron is younger than they actually are, and I was like, how long ago would it have to have been to have picked up the shoulder? Anyway.
I think 20 something at the moment.
Yeah, we decided older 20s, I think. But,
not well adapted.
No, just not well adapted. Figured out a strategy at 14 and never gave it up. But yeah, 12, 13 years old. Absolutely freaked the heck out. And was completely lost and ran into something that they really shouldn't have. Cast around and for something, for any sort of help, and managed to get in contact with something. I think at this point they'd been out in the wild long enough that the weirdness had started to creep in, though nobody had really noticed at this point. Managed to, in their blind panic, cast out and find a bigger fish, basically.
Okay.
And the bargain was, save me this time, and I'll take an observer with me wherever I go from now on. And I have to stay safe and alive long enough for the observer to do its job. I don't know what that job is. At 12, 13, freaking out when there's a great big thing with teeth in front of you, you don't ask a lot of questions. So I think
does it have a name, or does it have something you call it?
I don't think it has a name so much as it has... You ever have that sensation when you completely blank on the word for something, like a common object, but an image or something appears, like you think, oh, where is my... And you forget the word for glove, but an image appears really clearly of a glove in your head because your brain doesn't always work in words exactly. I think Acheron probably has that for this kind of creature. And the image that always pops up is the middle of winter. It's just gone dawn. There is frost on the ground, not snow, of course, this is Australia, but there is frost on the ground, and there's a little bit of undergrowth popping up next to a great big tree. And the focus is sort of on like half of the tree and that little tuft of something with frost all over it growing next to this thing. And that's sort of the image / vibe that Acheron only internally refers to this thing as.
Okay. In my notes, because I got to put that into like words for me, we will refer to beneath winter, which makes a perfect amount of sense given what's happened so far.
Yep.
Sorry,
you cut out in the middle of that sentence a bit. Can we get the name of the thing again? Because I don't think that came through on the stream.
I have jotted it down in my notes as Life Beneath Winter.
Yep.
Which makes a lot of sense given Acheron's shenanigans. So please stand by while we connect your call. Bah, bah. Now would probably be time to roll and enforce. See if they consider this to be their obligation.
Yes. Okay.
Please.
Can I push myself for this one?
If you wish.
Okay.
Potential to sell out would be Scar Tobi.
Yep. You know what? I'm actually... So I have to take that instead of the push, don't I?
It's an option. Basically, you get the extra dice, but you don't have to spend the stress. So.
Yeah, okay. But it is either or.
Yeah, you can only get one extra. Yeah.
You know what? Acheron's going to take that.
Sell out with me, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think... Yeah, anyway, I'll roll and then we'll figure out exactly how Tobi is scarred. Oh no, sorry, 2d6.
Oh no.
I'll roll one more and add that.
Add that extra. That desperate extra.
5, that's better.
Hooray! So, I mean,
that is
sell out
such a
happened.
great look on your face. That is exactly the emotion I was feeling at that time.
Yeah, sell out happened. So I'm going to definitely put a. He's pretty upset with you at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but it does work. So we have the alien resurrection moment of it's like. Now, the squirrel is a metaphor, right? It doesn't actually, like, you're not actually seeing a creature on your shoulder.
No,
or
I'm not actually seeing a creature. It's actually a technical difficulties reference.
Yeah,
because
okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was one squirrel on my shoulder saying this, one saying this, and it came out of my mouth, and now it's just the shoulder squirrel. But no, it's not actually squirrel-shaped.
Yeah.
If only because a squirrel is not an Australian animal, and if I were going to actually give it an Australian animal shape.
But yeah, so the chirping, the call waiting sound sort of like cuts, and you just get the recording of like a wind through the trees. And like one of the figure's hands reaches out of the heat haze, getting more and more solid, sort of closer and closer towards Acheron's face, and you see them sort of stepping in, and like one of them is like, it's like, he's like, gang, are we running? And sort of staggers back against the wreck of the buggy, just a hand spun out of rusted fencing wire and inky darkness, sort of reaching out of the heat haze towards him, and then that breeze sort of kicks up, and there is this moment of just freezing cold. Yeah. And the figures stop, like their joints have been frozen up.
Yeah, I think at this point Acheron is going to at least attempt to grab Tobi and Madeleine and whatever they can do to like lift the poor kid was burned and is now freezing. Time to go, limited time. We've only got a few seconds. Time to go.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Cool. Madeleine's going to roll an exert to bring the crucified kid along.
Yeah, look,
Over the shoulder, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. Look, with the way things are as they sit, yeah, I think you can carry him.
Right.
We know Madeleine is small enough at this stage. So yeah, you do the sort of fire, and yeah, you're all just Toby is pointing the way, like stops to cough, and there's like this sort of like a nasty sounding rattle in his chest as he does. Sort of leans briefly on Acheron to do it, catches his breath, and starts sort of staggering along behind you, just waving you forward.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, like the sound of the wind just all around you, just sort of howling. And as you crest the ridge, there's another vertigo lurch, and it feels later in the day than it should be. Like the sun is, and it might just be the hillside, but like the sun is sort of just cresting those hills as it plunges down into sunset. But you feel that lurch, and
Oh.
What a cliffhanger. We feel that lurch, and then the GM disappears mysteriously.
Yeah, it's like one of your consequences is that the GM dies. So,
How very much.
Yeah, you're all playing Fiasco now. It's good luck. I can't. Yeah, this is why I don't Twitch stream myself, just because like my own machinery is that unreliable. But yes, so you feel that lurch again, and in the sort of twilight paddock, there are a cluster of buildings. Old hunting lodges, essentially the sort of thing that like not quite longhouse, not quite clubhouse, but they did their best to sort of get the worst of both. Corroded corrugated iron roofs and like a pool room style windows, some patched over with cardboard. The metallic creaking sound is present but distant. The wind howls in sort of low scrubby trees. Not as bare, not as burned as the ones you passed so far. But when you turn to look back the way you came, the heat haze is flickering wildly, like a fire in the far distance.
Dun dun dun. All right.
Okie dokes.
Okay.
The buildings seem relatively quiet from here, but they're maybe 100 meters up the hill.
All right. So is this lodge kind of space, is it at all safe and or defensible, or do we need to be looking for somewhere else to go, basically?
Yeah, look, they're solidly built. Like I say, they're the sort of things that you'd expect, like the permanent buildings you'd expect at a campsite almost.
Yeah.
Like at a professional, like a what's the word, permanent like caravan park or what have you. The sort of services buildings they have at those.
But we are also dealing with a chimera, so
yeah,
that's
solidly built. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whether there's some sort of like. So we're not at the hunting lodge. We're at a different building, or is this the?
No, like this is the area. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you found the buildings, you're just not really near them yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, it's like a football field up the hill.
Gotcha. Okay, so what we either need is to get up the hill as quickly as possible, or chill out here until whatever that is calms the heck down. Figure out what's going on, and then go up the hill and not risk dragging everybody else who's might be up there along for the ride, so to speak.
Madeleine's thought was that if this is the chimera that we've been dealing with, we might be safer from its ire to be near the people that it's like.
Or at least
using,
the people that it wants to use later.
Yeah, it might want to kill them, maybe.
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad thought,
It's
actually.
as good an argument as any we've seen so far.
Yep.
The fire, like the inferno behind us, isn't abating.
No, like it seems like you breached, like you stepped past a boundary line, possibly the gate, possibly something near it, and it just seems to be sitting there on the other side.
Okay.
Like it broke the region around here, but not here in particular. That sense of being on an island is kind of pervasive.
So can Acheron tell whether the whether this is like, whether their benefactor, shall we say, did it just give us enough time to escape and get past that boundary line, or is it still hanging around? Is it still actively doing something at this point? Because I feel like we're not getting any more help. I just want to know if the help has
it honored the deal. Yeah, it saved your life. It has probably gone home.
Yeah. All right. So we are now on.
It's a busy monstrosity. It's got other things to do.
Yes.
Bingo.
It's like all night,
So in that
barbecue
case,
with the kids.
Cello recital. So I guess at this point the question is whether Acheron, I need to put some points into Cortex at some point, has the ability to tell whether this thing is likely to come past that barrier, or whether the monsters that were chasing us are actually stuck on the other side.
Short answer, you haven't seen any of them on this side yet.
Yeah.
So, if it's not here for some reason, once again, chimeras can get pretty weird, and you're not actually sure what those things are. Like, not strictly. It's like, they didn't look alive. Most chimeras, make at least a nod at being biologically alive. These look like messes of scrap metal.
Yeah.
Like the worst, gnarliest, acid trippiest versions of Madeleine's walking sculptures.
Like an evil Sean Tan book.
Yeah. Yep. Don't do it. Don't let your mind go there.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying really hard not to think about that too much.
But in which Australian references? But I think at this point, Acheron's gonna sort of assume that they don't come past the border. I think Acheron's also assumed that we don't know whether these are the chimera itself, or whether these might be creations of the chimera, wherever it happens to be. So, Acheron's going to sort of turn around to the others and go, well, if we set up Tree Boy somewhere in here so that we're not dragging poor kid around anymore, we should...
You hear a murmured, "That's cool, thanks for the lift, guys."
Oh,
Madeleine's looking at the kid, peering into the heat haze, trying to see if the buggy's still in existence. Looking at the kid, looking into the heat haze, and fuck.
I think Acheron, now that they've heard the kid talk, is going to move over and go, "Hey, so how much longer were you supposed to be up there? This might be important information."
It's like, this is, sort of starts mumbling away. It's like, until I'd learned my lesson.
What did you do?
sort of glances back up at the huts. It's like, it's upset.
Okay.
I offended it. Didn't like that.
Can you tell us what exactly you did to offend it?
I think it was the beef. Like, I shouldn't have. I mean, I shouldn't. I was hungry, though. It's real touchy about that.
Okay.
You have any water?
Madeleine looks over to where the buggy would have been. Yep.
We'll get back to you on that.
Very cool. And just sort of passes out again.
Okay, so it doesn't... Thing hanging out at a hunting lodge that doesn't like the kids eating beef. Could be meat in general, but we know specifically beef is not on the table. Literally and figuratively.
It's got some beef.
Hey. Alright.
Oh dear. I guess we need to go up to the lodge. Like, that's the only... We sit here until the fire goes away and try and... I'm sure that buggy's melted, though. Like...
It looks melty out there.
Yeah.
See how we go, things are a bit weird.
Yeah, I guess we live here now, says Toby. Pats himself down, finds his cigarettes, but not a lighter.
Why don't you just walk over to the gate, Toby? Just, like, hold the cigarette up.
I'm not sure I trust it as far as I can walk at it. I don't think it's really fire either. So starts chewing the cigarette pensively. It's like, I don't think it's actually there at all, gang. You know, I don't think it's real.
Good chat, Toby. Good thinking. Let's.
Toby,
oh no, like the monsters were real, 100%. But no, I think that is you know, he appears to be desperately trying to think out a word.
Yeah, are we able to tell if this is like an actual insight or just him thinking he's on and everyone else is like on too?
Can you ever tell with Toby? No, look, he seems to be trying to puzzle it out. But, you know, he's probably onto something in that you're pretty sure that whatever this thing was, you know, like if either one of you had to guess, you're pretty sure that these things probably can't just Salvador Dali the landscape at will. It could be like it could be like a psychic attack. You know, like it's just made you believe that it is Salvador Dali the landscape.
That's the best verb I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, you know, I bring the gold.
Madeleine awkwardly taps Toby on the back and says that it's time to make action.
It's time to make what? I'm sorry?
Make the introduction.
He sighs deeply and begins to walk up the hill.
Yeah.
Looking really just tired.
Poor Toby.
I think Acheron's sort of gonna wait a couple of seconds and glance back at the kid that apparently we're just leaving in this shack.
Oh, fuck.
I imagined him leaned up against it like a letterbox, like a tree stump letterbox.
Yeah, I feel like
We'll be back.
because the thing is we aren't. Yeah, I don't feel. I feel like leaving him here can be used against us at a later date. I think like, although it's probably not a great idea to keep picking him up and carrying him.
Or does Acheron want to go? Because Acheron...
Oh, you cut out at the end there. Acheron...
Sorry. Acheron understands the Chimera stuff a bit better than Madeleine. Madeleine can make sure that the kid doesn't die. And Acheron, if we don't want to leave him behind. Because I don't think taking him up there's going to be the best idea just because they're not happy with him.
Yeah.
Like being like, hey, we brought back your thing.
Yeah. And we've got radios. Do the radios work? Can we test? Because as we've established that we carry radios.
Yeah.
Between ourselves.
Yeah, like you sort of do a buzz test. Yeah, you can reach each other.
All right, so the short waves are going.
Short range, it seems okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's split up. Toby and I will go up and talk to people, and Madeleine will make sure that either nothing happens to Tree Kid, or we can come back and rescue the both of them at short notice if need be. Because it's not super far. You said it's only a football field, so I figure that that's not an insurmountable difference, provided we've got at least a little bit of warning, which is not a given, but it's the best we got under the circumstances. So.
All right. So look, you trudge on up this sort of winding path. Like as you are sort of wandering in between the buildings, you get the sense of a bit of habitation, a bit of movement inside a couple of them. One you pick up by sort of that sort of fridgy kind of smell. It's like, okay, that must have been a big freezer at some point. I forget what the chemical is, but yeah, like that fridgy scent.
Yeah.
And a couple, and like the scent of campfire ash, and just like that. There's like old wood left out in the weather. Toby steps up to the door of the best maintained of the shacks and sort of hammers on it. And it's answered fairly rapidly. Couple of blinks from a sort of like light-boned young woman, probably blonde hair, but she's shaved it right down. She just comes out with, it's like, hey, Toby, who the fuck is this? It's like, hey, Alice, this is Acheron. They're cool. Like, hey, Acheron. What looks back at Toby, it's like, what do you all want?
I think Acheron's...
The bottom just falls out of Acheron's plan.
Yeah. This was a great plan until it involved putting Acheron in front of people.
That's what I thought.
I think Acheron's probably just a little bit too shaken and a little bit too annoyed with everything to go for the subtle or the even attempt to use any of the hey, got asked to come up and have a chat about the group up here. I talked to them too, by the way, so like no judgment or anything. We just want to know what it is you're talking to and what's going on.
Glances at Toby. We? And Toby sort of looks at Acheron.
Me and friend who's waiting with the car. Look, it's nothing serious. Just wanted to... Listen, it's getting weird out there. If you noticed, it's getting weird out there because it's getting weird out there. And, everything's sort of going to shit. So is there something that you should be telling me about?
Attempt to positively interact. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's like, roll camp counselor. It's like, yeah, it gets stormy, but it's fine once you get your head around it. We're fine up here.
Cool.
We got plenty to eat. We're all right.
Cool. Glad you're fine. Have you realized there's no road back yet?
But sort of shrugs.
Yeah, because it kind of went away as we were driving up here. And listen, uh, so what could they? I'm just trying to think, because what Acheron at this point is absolutely trying to hammer the look. I'm weird too. I'm talking like fellow weirdos here.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so listen. Chimeras get a bit freaky. I understand this. There's one on my shoulder. It lives in my head. What can you do? Except never watch Casablanca in your life ever again. So, the thing is, they do get weird, but if you know how to manage them, it's fine, right? So, just saying, the fact that the road is gone means that something's probably also gone wrong, and we can fix it, but really, really good idea to do that right now. So how about we sit down, we have a chat, tell me all about this chimera. You can know all about mine if you like. It's fine. This day can't get any weirder. So chat.
Yeah, she glances over your shoulder at the heat haze, like it's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it's turning ugly. You all better come inside.
Acheron's gonna
walks back into the house and glances back at her shoulder and is like, "Come on."
Yeah, I think Acheron will follow her in and sort of mutter to Tobi, "Can't believe that worked."
It's like, yeah, it's just coming into like this, like it looked like there was meant to be electricity at some point, but it's just largely given out. Like a sort of wood burning stove in the kitchen, and it's like, are you going to leave your friend out there, or?
Referring to friend next to the car. Yeah. And Acheron's gonna sort of get on the radio and be like, "We're heading in for a chat. Would you like to come with, or are you good where you are still?"
Am I good where I am, or is it getting like worse?
Yeah, it's like meanwhile Madeleine is fixing a small bomb to the bottom of a flying drone. Yeah, the heat haze seems to be sort of, the sky is getting closer, if you follow. Right, like the sort of dome around the place is sort of tightening around it almost, but yeah, it looks, the sense of a storm brewing is pretty present. Yeah, like nothing has made a move to threaten you. Your charge is, it's fading in and out of consciousness, but yeah, like you'd expect that. He seems pretty dehydrated.
Is he able to tell us whether the people there will be up? Like, am I able to get out from him whether it would be bad for him to be seen?
But he's sort of in the snippets that you get. It's like he does his best to go. It's like no.
I can't hear you at all.
Oh, sorry. I'll try that again. Sort of adjust myself to my. Oh, Lee, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you fine.
I'm going to swap my headset. I reckon it's me.
All right.
That's all right.
Intermission.
Technological upgrade side of the future. We have built what we could from bits that we found on the side of the road. Just once again, release an album of my outtakes. This is the good stuff. You know, getting the good stuff here.
We're back.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, his general response seems to be, it's like, no, we cool. It'll be fine. I mean, worst case, I go back up the tree.
Very reassuring. Okay, Madeleine's going to like try and get up, like over the shoulder, over the shoulder, kind of like Christ with the cross him up the hill.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. I go, maybe I'm bringing the kid. It might be worth giving them a heads up.
So yes, as we sort of expand shot from around Acheron, we see like a bunch of sort of not filthy, but lax on showers, camp clothing kind of kids, sort of dotted around the makeshift lounge. Of course, there is a weird three-antlered deer head mounted over the fireplace because it seems like those were the previous occupants. And yeah, we just sort of pan out as Alice puts the tea on the wood-burning stove, and it's like Axel, Mary, we got guests. And you just sort of pan out and see them all kind of sitting around, like a young man mucking with the dartboard, and like a couple of others playing backgammon. And it's like, huh? What do you do?
Acheron's gonna sort of look around and I guess scan to see if there's any... Acheron's first reaction to everything is always look around and scan to see if there's any iconography that they recognize, or any iconography that the squirrel recognizes either.
Yeah, scan away.
If Acheron had scanned when they were 12, they wouldn't be in this predicament.
Like, oh boy, if we had only thought of how not to get into Faustian pact. All right. I'm thinking almost that some part of this is evidence. Like I'm thinking, like I'm leaning towards a bit of a meta level thing where it's like, yeah, like when this does come back around, Sergeant Small's going to recognize that you were probably in on it. And I think it might even just be that like some reflexive part of Acheron kind of ditches the keys and wallet on the bench on the way in. I'm done. It's like, oh no, shoes! It's like
yeah.
Shoes off, take your shoes off on the way in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shoes off the door. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. But so I'm gonna be phasing that through as when the cleanup does come. That's gonna be wise. But yeah, it is not something that the squirrel recognizes by any means, but you do get the sense that it is an interpretation of domain, if you understand. The phrases sort of graffitied around the lodge rooms, things to the effect of unchained, unleashed, locks shattered, and cages broken.
All those things that teenagers love.
Yeah. You get it's like you get limited reality fraternity, but without the last two bits.
Acheron's gonna sort of look around and sort of go, fair enough. So, just a question, is it you guys that are getting unchained, or did you unchain something else? Or is it a little bit of both?
The young fellow with the darts, Axel, is like, what are you doing up here? He's like, Tobi's like, oh, chill out, guys. They're cool. At which point, yeah, like Madeleine sort of staggers in through the door.
Yeah.
Shoes off when you come in, says Alice.
Yeah, Madeleine's able to just like with the kid on the back, like with the combat boot and it's kind of.
Alice's response is, oh, okay, didn't see that coming. All right, I'm gonna... She just wanders back to the back of the room. And it's like, Axel responds, it's like, oh, fuck's sake, they took him down! It's like, they fucking what? They took him down! What is this? What are you doing here?
Oh, things are going
well.
Who even are you? Points at Madeleine.
Acheron's going to stop.
Sorry, I missed that.
Like, it points at Madeleine with who even are you? What are you doing here?
Trying to help.
Acheron's
We
going to
don't need your help.
Acheron's going to sort of step in the way and go, wait. Okay. We can explain. So, here's the thing. We understand. We managed to get the story. This was some sort of purification thing. We understand. We fucked up. We absolutely 100% did, in this case, fuck up. However, also please understand, we were driving up here through the bush and there was a severely injured person tied to a tree, and I think we did something that could be considered reasonable with the information that we had under the circumstances. Can we come to some agreement in this space?
Roll it.
Fuck.
It's like, because that is a very good, reasonable argument you've got there, Lee, but let's see how Acheron does.
Okay, so this is going to be... I think this has to be a connect roll, because that is absolutely...
That sounds right, yeah.
So Acheron is going to push themselves, and I'm also rolling with guilty, so I'm going to roll my 2d6 connect.
Yeah, just keep them separate so we know.
Yeah. 4 and a 4, and then I'm going to roll 1d6 for guilty and get a 5.
Cool. All right. I don't know. So 5 for the consequences. Consequences stable. So, oh yes, remember you've both rolled one of those now. Remember the XP.
Yep.
Yeah. Get your sweet meta currencies. So we hit with a consequence, which is okay. We can work that. How could I horribly upset Chippy with this one? It's like, Chippy's been here the whole time in a crate. It's like the real Chippy's not in town. No, like that's extreme even for me. Yeah, it's like you sort of deliver that, and there's this stretch of silence. And then you just hear from over Madeleine's shoulder, it's like, no, it's cool. We cool. Cool. It's like, Mary puts down a backgammon dice, and it's like, fuck's sake. All right, cool, right.
Okay. So.
You can hang out. What is it?
Right, now that we've got this out of the way. So. Chimeras, yeah? So, you've made some sort of deal? Am I reading this situation correctly?
Like you hear a sort of rumbling over the roof like a heavy wind. She sort of shrugs and it's like, we made a friend.
Cool, friend. Nice term for it. Love that term. Great. Very familiar to my own experience. So let's just consider for a moment. We're all out in a hunting lodge, in the middle of the bush. I understand. Not really a concern at the moment. Few worried people back home, but let's put that aside. Leave that one till later. How about we start with, is it alright if I ask who made contact first? Did you find the Chimera, or did the Chimera find you? Is this...
What the fuck is a Chimera? Shouts Axel from over the shot. It's like, they sort of wave down, and it's like, they're talking about her. It's like, and like the other kid, we'll say Gloria shrugs. It's like, we came out and we met her. She lived here.
Cool. That's awesome.
That we could stay and we could help look after the place.
Okay. look after the place is good. What sort of stuff do you do to look after the place? It looks really well looked after, by the way. Just gonna put that out
there. The roof continues to rumble. Madeleine, how are you taking this? And if you put your
Also,
friend down,
Can I just interject at the moment? I think that like every time the roof rattles at this point, the squirrel goes, "Listen to them, children of the night. What music they
beautiful
make."
music they make.
Madeleine's trying to feed, trying to just get some water into the kid, and goes, "If you want a hand with anything, we can help. I'm good at fixing things."
Good. Yeah, and once again, like outburst kind of squish. Yeah. It's like, and Mary follows up. It's like, yeah, cool, but why? What is it you want?
I think what Ron's trying to say is that these things can be really dangerous, and we just want to work with you to make sure that not only that you're okay, because you look like you're doing fine, except for like the crucifixion stuff, just to make sure that like no one's going to get hurt. This isn't going to hurt people in the community back home, and that everyone's here because they want to be here.
Yeah, there's a tense sort of okay, like there's a tense sort of fizzling almost around the room, and I got to do but because it's our break time. It's like that sort of standoff and that sort of slowly building rumbling is going to be a cliffhanger moving into the next break.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Because you got to have them, everybody.
I'm amazed that you managed to find it. You find at least 2 every session. I'm actually.
Yeah, it's amazing how they keep rolling, isn't it? Yeah. Cool. All right, so we might settle on that. We will take 5, and then we will swoop back around to conclude this nail-biting, surrealism engaging session.
And the cat sits on the controls, so I accidentally bring the pause screen up too early.
I am sure everything will be fine.
All right.
All right, very good.
In 5.
I will be back in a mo.